Hey friends, welcome back to the Guitar Max channel. So if you've been paying attention to the guitar universe lately, you probably saw this announcement from Jackson Guitars that has everybody talking. This has been making huge waves among fans of 80s guitar shredding, and of course, I'm talking about the Jackson Pro Origins 1985 models. There's 6 different models, and we're going to go through all of them in this video. Now, to start with, I want to make a couple things clear. First of all, this is not a sponsored video. It's not sponsored by Jackson or the parent company Fender or anything like that. I just think these guitars are really cool, and I love 80s guitars, and so I want to make sure my audience knows about it. Second, I don't physically have these guitars here with me because they just came out, so we're going to be looking at all of these beautiful photos and lists of specifications that they have on the Jackson website, and we're going to speculate about how awesome it would be to play these guitars and then slap the table in frustration at the prices. Okay, with that said, if you enjoy videos like this, checking out cool new guitars and staying up on all the latest news in the guitar universe, and you've not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Now let's get into this. So here is the Jackson website. They've got some awesome promotion for this new release. I'll have a link for all the stuff in the video description below, but if we scroll down and look at this, to start with, it says, for over 40 years, Jackson has been the guitar of choice for the world's most iconic shredders and hard rockers. The Pro Origin 1985 series pays tribute to that legacy, reviving the legendary San Dimas style that shaped generations of metal pioneers. Equipped with vintage voiced pickups based on Jackson's original Southern California designs, these guitars deliver the unmistakable tone that defined an era. Okay, we're off to a really good start here, but let's look at these different models here. So basically, these are all like super strat type guitars, obviously using the San Dimas body shape, which is, you know, basically like a Fender body, very kind of round. But they've done a bunch of variations with pickup configurations, maple fretboards, rosewood fretboards, and a few different paint jobs. Let's start with this one right here, and then we should obviously talk about these prices as well. So this is the black and white two-face with the black pickup and the white pickup. And yeah, maple, beautiful maple fretboard, alder body on these. And yeah, let's just take a look at some of these pictures. So obviously these are pretty true in a lot of ways to, you know, a guitar that you would actually buy in the 80s. Kind of a simplified control layout, you know, there's no mini switches or anything like that. And one thing that's really cool that I'm seeing here, see if I can get a close-up of it, these are top-mounted Floyd Rose bridges, so they're not recessed. So, you know, the disadvantage of that is you're not going to be able to pull up very far. You can probably pull up a little bit, but not that much. But this is, again, it's something that's fairly true to the design that you would get back in the 80s. Also 22 frets instead of 24 frets like you would expect on a modern shred guitar. Now let's read these specs and features a little bit here. So yeah, it's an alder body, a 12-inch to 16-inch compound radius fretboard, 22 jumbo frets, top-mounted Floyd Rose 1000 series. So top-mounted, like I said before, Floyd Rose 1000. So that's going to be like a Korean-made Floyd Rose. That's a very good bridge. Not to be confused with the Floyd Rose Special, which is a step down from the 1000 series. But that's, you know, I'm happy to see that bridge on these guitars, because one of the criticisms that I've been talking about lately, or even a few years back, is some of the Fender products, they'd be selling a guitar for like $1,200, $1,300 and would have a Floyd Rose Special, right? Which is a bridge that you can get on a guitar that's like under 500, certainly maybe even less than that. It was kind of a weird mismatch of lower quality hardware on a more expensive guitar, but we don't have that issue on this guitar, so I like this. Now, the pickups here, what do they say about the pickups? Because this is kind of a big deal here. Electronics. Yeah, so they're calling these the Jackson J90C, J50N, and it says based on the original recipe from the 1980s. I wish we had a little bit more information about that, like some readings, resistance readings and so forth. And I'll see if I can throw in a little bit of this promo video they have here and see if we can actually hear some of the guitars. Also, something to notice on this guitar, these are open coil pickups, but it seems like some of the other models have covered pickups. So let's check out some of the other stuff here. So they've got this black one here, and this is going to be a single bridge pickup, but again, it's the same bridge, same top-mounted bridge installation. Again, 22 frets, jumbo frets, but on a rosewood fretboard. But yeah, just a simple single volume, no tone control, very 80s. Nice variation. And honestly, this is the kind of thing that I think is going to compete with some of the Kramer guitars that are out right now, some of the more expensive stuff. Okay, now we've got this white and red one here. Let's check these. Let's just look at the red one, because I think this is going to be the same as the white one. I'll double check that. Candy apple red. This is probably my favorite one. I don't really like guitars that only have a bridge pickup. I do like to have more than one choice, or at least some choices, period, with like pickup positions. And this thing just looks so classic. Honestly, kind of reminds me, sorry Jackson, but this looks very similar to the Kiesel Jason Becker model. And yeah, but again, top-mounted Floyd Rose, volume, tone, three-way, covered Jackson pickups. So I wonder, are these pickups custom voice J90C, J50 neck? Okay, so it honestly looks like these all have the same pickups. It's just this is like a covered version, and that first guitar we looked at, the pickups are not covered. They're just open coil pickups. But as far as the windings and the pickups and the specs of the pickups, I guess they're the same. So it's just an aesthetic difference, right? But yeah, this I think is my favorite one right here. Okay, let's see if we can check out this video here. Let's see what this is. Okay, so that's a cool promo video, but it's, are we actually hearing the guitar there? I kind of wish it was more of like a sit-down playthrough video, at least with some of this, like a little bit of that in here. Kind of a funny coincidence, this set that they're using to shoot this promo video, this is a set that you can rent, I think it might be in Pasadena, or, it's certainly in the LA area, and I just shot some stuff for somebody else at this exact set like 3 months ago or something. So it's funny to see it again here. It's a very LA problem where you start to recognize where things are shot every time you see something come out. Okay, so I also found this video over on the Music Zoo YouTube channel where they're featuring some of these guitars here. I don't want to like totally rip off their video, so I'll just put a link to this. You can watch the whole thing down in the video description below. It's only about 5 minutes long. I wish it had more playing. But there are some playing examples in here. Very thrashy sounding. I like it. Okay, anyway, like I said, I'll have a link for that down in the video description below. But let's talk about the elephant in the room here now. This first guitar, the black and white one with the open coil pickups, it's almost $1,500. And I understand this is kind of a special run of these guitars. Maybe they're going to be limited edition or something, and so that could contribute to a higher value for the guitar. But these are Jacksons, but these are not made in USA. These are made in Mexico. And the hardware does look pretty cool, and the designs are cool. But there's a few things here. So it's like $1,500. I mean, it's a cool guitar, but it's just the prices for guitars have gotten so high. Just in the past like 5 years, the guitar prices have just skyrocketed. And so I'm thinking value-wise, like value for your money. You compare a guitar like this to something like that Schecter makes, which is going to have stainless steel frets and maybe a Sustainiac system and still a very nice bridge, but maybe it's going to have like EMGs or something like that, like even better hardware and features, maybe even a neck through, right, than this stuff. And it's going to be in the same price range. It won't be more than this for sure. Maybe even less, $12.50. There's a lot of Schecters that have those features that are around that range. So I guess considering what guitars go for these days, these prices are not ridiculous, but it's also like, it's not a bargain either. The other thing that I think is strange is look at the price difference between the Candy Apple Red, $12.59 versus $14.69, more than $200 more, because it has a slightly a different paint job, and these are certainly not like custom, like airbrushed paint jobs or something, and open coil pickups instead of the covered ones. But again, I believe these are physically these are the same pickups, just one's covered and one's not. Why is there such a big price difference there? To me, that seems pretty weird. Okay, but let me ask a few questions here, and this stuff is important. I really want to know what you think about this. Just give me your overall impression of these guitars. What do you think about it? Which one is your favorite? And what do you think about the prices? But the other thing is, when you compare these guitars to some of the other 80s inspired guitars that have been coming out lately, and I want to mention, of course, the Harley Benton stuff. Yeah, I have to include my Hollow Flash signature guitar with Harley Benton, which goes for like $500, but also Harley Benton just recently, they brought out the ST80 models, which are even less expensive than my signature guitar, and they're still very cool and obviously very 80s inspired guitars. And then also, on the other end, Badlands, right? Badlands just launched a bunch of new models. They're expanding their operation, and all of those guitars, all the Badlands stuff is just 80s, 80s, 80s. Granted, those guitars are made in the USA, and they're significantly more expensive than these ones. So, you've got a lot of different price points to work with, but do the differences in the price points, are those differences justified, right? So let me know what you think about all that stuff down in the comment section below. Okay guys, look, bottom line here, as much as I don't really like these prices, I gotta admit, I love what Jackson is doing here. These are super cool guitars. I would love to get one of these. I would love to get that Candy Apple Red one. And yeah, and I know a lot of people, just judging from the online reaction, a lot of people think this is really cool. And it's a good move by Jackson, and I want to see more 80s guitars. So keep up the good work. Okay guys, that is it. As usual, I'm going to have links for everything I was talking about down in the video description below. I'll put a link for that Music Zoo video on YouTube. I'll put a link down there for that, as well as the link to the Jackson website where you can look at all these pictures and all that stuff. Guys, thanks a ton for watching. As usual, subscribe, thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.